some guy comes in and been wrestling 5 years, and I've been wrestling 15 years, and has been to all these different damn places and seen all this shit. I am so far above them mentally with mental gymnastics. As far as the wrestling business, what I did was I intimidated a lot of people because I didn't give a.
Billfold, so swole that I can't get the shit closed. So I money fold and rubber band wrap. And when it pop,
You want to try and get one up on me? I can.
You ever going to talk to anybody on your show, or are you just going to keep doing your hair?
I didn't know we was on.
Every
Excuse
week I
me.
say, when the music hits, it means we're on.
Every week. What's hit mean?
When it plays,
starts?
when the music plays, we are online.
Okay, now I understand it. I thought when you'd play it.
If I redo the clip from last week, I'd tell you the exact same thing.
Well, you're probably going to have to tell it to me next
Well, it's
week,
been 2.5
too.
years.
Well, and what's your point? And every week I get more senile and more senile. So excuse me for being an old son bitch, whatever. Shit, Donald Trump.
Hair looks good though.
There I had my workout shirt on, right? And I had to put this shirt over the top.
Yeah, I wish you'd just take the workout shirt off. It would be much better.
Well, it doesn't matter what
Well,
you
sure
wear.
it matters.
No, it don't.
You don't have to sit by you.
You don't have to breathe.
I try not to. That's
Maybe
why I faint. half the
I go.
time. I gotta hold,
You beat me to
I
it.
got to hold my breath in here.
You beat me to it. That's what I was gonna say. It's probably why you pass out.
I wouldn't doubt it. Total T-Pack 10 in the house. Bull digging in green in the house. Manuel Valverde not in green in the house.
Well, then he's not. You might as well just say he's not even here then.
John Tucker in green. Shane Parks in green. William Lynn, 70QQ. George Jetson from outer space in green. Drew Wilson. Gregory Mala. Clayton back in the house in green. Must not be working anymore. He got fired.
Well, I think
George Lamberth in the house.
Holy shit.
Lamberth.
Big George gonna come in, make appearance. About time. God, as over as I am, as over as you are, as over as George is. He's like a living legend of the Crockett territory. I'm not putting him over though. I ain't putting Manny the Weasel Valverde over either. But Weasel, you need to get. Hey George, you need to get green. That's what you need to do. And you get green and you ask questions, and
then you may or may not answer them.
Yeah, may or may not. Wait a minute. I'll start out with good intentions, and then all of a sudden I gotta give him a little bit of the backstory, because a lot of these guys was, they're talking about stuff that was happened before they were born and shit. Excuse me.
Frank's Pickle Barrel Ass in green in the house said, did 69 in your honor last night, Rip.
What was it with your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or what? Elaborate. I need to know things like that.
Mistress.
Oh, mistress. All right.
He didn't say that. I did.
Oh, okay.
Got to skip right down to this, though. Shane Parks with a $4 super sticker to start off the day.
The $4 super sticker better. It don't get better than Shane Parks giving us the $4 super sticker.
That trumps everything. Talion in here from Green Valley, Illinois. Bobby Lopez said we're the Red Shirt Mafia today.
The Red Shirt Mafia. I accidentally put this shirt on, had it in the car for 3 weeks. As I finally pulled it out of the front seat. Changed in the front yard. I think I almost had a riot. There was some woman walking by, and I think she was wanting to come up and get a gander of me. But I just told her to fight the feeling, hon.
I have 4 of these exact shirts, so I pretty much wear one every day.
And I have to sit next to it and sniff it.
I know it's a new shirt every day. I have 4 of them.
How'd you get a new shirt?
What do you mean? I wash them, and it's a clean shirt. You don't have to sniff them. It's a new shirt.
Oh,
it's a new shirt. I wear them every day because I have 4 of them. So after today, this will go in the dirty clothes, and tomorrow I'll put a clean one on. See how it works. Clayton says he got promoted to manager, so now he does what he wants.
Well, he did what he wanted anyway. So
From
I get
unemployed to manager. That's awesome.
I guess he wanted to take the week off last week and just see if we missed him.
I don't know that he would. He might have been on here last week. Do you know he wasn't on here?
I can't remember that far
Well, yeah, I
back.
never said he wasn't on here.
Ask him, Clayton. Was you on here last week?
Clayton, were you on here last week? Hell, we got 30 people watching today. Rip, you better do something good today.
Well, I could give him a little strip tease. That would be average. It wouldn't be good.
Try it.
Well, I have to get up, so that's sort of.
I got to give a shout out. I forgot last week, so I got to remember before we get moving and grooving here this week. Got to make sure I get the name right. Rich Patterson, I think is the name.
Oh, that's Portland.
Portland.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rich. I know it's Rich. I just was going to try to double check, and now I'm screwing the whole thing up anyway.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, well, you don't have anything ready today, so what the hell?
I'm ready.
It's called Rip Rogers Live. What do you got prepared for today, Rip?
I got everything prepared. I'm waiting for questions from our constituents.
Oh, I'm sure we have some. I got to get to this first, though.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I'll get to this first. You ever watched it yet? Rip tells a little short story about Randy Savage.
When he threw the brick through the window.
Making him go throw a brick through Jerry Lawler's window. Or not making him, but Rip was driving the getaway car.
Yeah. I didn't even know what I was getting away from.
Put that up on YouTube last night. Go check it out. I got 3 more coming. I'm going to put all up at the same time. It's a new Waffle House story. You guys eating leftovers at Waffle House. It's one of them is
God, that was the best.
him breaking up with his girlfriend. I went through him today. Through it with his girlfriend, and then God, there's one more.
Was that when Randy broke up with Charlene?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you told the story. You act like you didn't know who she was.
Well, I didn't want to put her name on here.
Well, you just told it.
I know,
now.
but because she puts herself over on the internet as like Randy's ex-girlfriend. That's a hell of a rib.
I don't know. On the video, you acted like you didn't know her
Well,
or anything about her. Now today, you're like, "Oh, is that Charlene?"
Well, that's what I seen on the internet since then.
You're the one that told the story. Not you're like, "Oh, is that Charlene?" I don't know. You told the story.
I'm trying to think of all Randy's girlfriends.
And then, man, I can't remember the third one. I just watched it this morning. Anyway, those 3 will be coming out next week, all together, one video. It's going to be the greatest ever. So Rich Patterson sent me a bunch of videos of Rip from Portland Wrestling. And there's a whole big story out there on him, how he got him from Playboy Buddy Rose. But these are like the originals right here. See that big tape? What was that called?
Yeah, that was the God, that was the one you put it. Buddy had the big loading machines. It was almost like
Quasar?
I don't know. I just knew that when I went out there and saw that in Buddy's apartment, the big, huge screen, all the tapes he had all that shit. And I never even thought about that stuff. Of course, I was stupider then than I am now. Then I had to go home and get me the $798 VCR and all the little tapes for all that stuff. And they all went away in the big flood.
Well, they didn't. I got a bunch of them here.
Yeah, why
You always say they all went away. I got a whole box of them here.
Okay.
That I put on our channel. A lot of them. So
All right.
They couldn't have all went away in the flood. Just like all your pictures went away in the flood, but half of them are here in this closet and on my wall.
Oh, I got the one. No, I'm talking about the pictures since I was born.
I've got those in my closet.
You got my baby pictures?
Yes, we went through them before, me and you. I got letters like when you were at St. Ambrose or something. Like,
did you show me?
Yes.
I can't even remember that shit. Damn.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Look what you got.
Got your WWE contracts in there.
What
I know those aren't from when you were a kid, but
what you got to look forward to?
yeah, I got all your.
How's the King's memory?
I've got all your
Is
shit.
the King's memory
A lot better than yours.
I gotta say.
I lost all in that flood. No, you didn't, Rip. It's been in my closet for
okay?
5
All right.
years.
He's been holding out on me. He's
Rich,
probably got him. Probably making millions from all my.
yeah. I can't find the email. Anyway, I'll post it on here. Rich Patterson sells this stuff too. All the Portland tapes you want. It is Quasar.
Oh, okay.
Buddy gave me the 1970s format Quasar tapes. The pictures will show you what they look like. He wasn't able to play them for 20 years and was going to trash them. So I took them. After about 2 years and $1,500, I was able to restore them. Buddy passed in 2009. His widow, Tammy, was going to toss a couple boxes, was to toss a couple boxes a week in recycling of VHS tapes and some to Goodwill. So apparently he got those boxes as well and has over 400 hours of Portland wrestling footage.
God, that's great.
So all these videos I'm going to put out on our channel, I'll put the email address. But if anybody's interested in buying some tapes from him, Portland Wrestling Video at yahoo.com. I'll put that in the chat. Portland Wrestling Video at yahoo.com.
God, what good times that was at Portland. Jesus Christ, that was fun.
So today I did a match. I got one downloaded, and it was you and Buddy Rose against Ron Starr and Adrian Adonis.
Rotten Ron Starr and Adrian Adonis. Rotten Ron Starr, the great Vietnam veteran, Bobby Eugene Nutt, real name. Adrian Adonis, all he did was bully me. Of course he could.
So in the beginning of that match, I noticed like you guys stood there.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it took you forever to like derobe.
Okay,
Then-
that's called getting heat. Excuse
Then
me.
he did like push-ups.
Yeah,
Then you all met like in the middle of the ring
for the but you had.
with the referee going
Yeah.
over all the. It was 3.5 minutes in. Now this is not counting like the walking in entrance, which before you even considered starting the match.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
I'm not against it. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
saying.
You gotta remember what they did, but that was the Portland show, and they wanted it like a house show. They didn't want it to go me, you know, like everybody else does in the 1 hour TV show. They wanted it so it'd be the same thing. What you saw on TV, and then when you get to the house show, you wouldn't go, "What the hell's this?" You're used to it.
So I'm gonna get a bunch of those out. He said we could put them on our channel. So I'm gonna. He sent me just hours of other people as well. So I'm taking your matches out. You're supposed to be in every one of these tapes, I guess we'll call it, that he sent me. So there's gonna be, I don't know, probably 8 to 10 matches, I would guess, of you somehow, some way.
Hopefully.
So I'll get those out and put them on our channel.
And the thing about it is, I was rotten here, double rotten, because I wasn't hadn't been there anywhere hardly, especially not being trained, and I had to learn by doing what Ron Starr said, doing what Adrian Adonis said, doing what Buddy Rose said, because I was low man on the totem pole as far as experience and especially talent. But rookies with a lot of work, working with veterans, you will get better. So hang in there.
Bull Digging in Green said, what window did he basically, I think he's
Oh,
wanting
the
to
front
know,
window.
was it a house or car?
Yeah, oh no, it was a house.
So he put it or threw it through the front window of the house. Was
Well-
Lawler home? Do you know?
Well, it was on a wrestling night, so he would have been gone.
So you think Lawler ever found out? I mean,
Well, Randy said it on TV next week. He was telling
oh yeah, that's
everybody.
right. You said
Yeah.
he really did do that.
Yeah,
Said
well,
he did it. Like
I
he-
just know I was sitting there, and all of a sudden,
no. I mean, he really said that promo on TV. That
Yeah.
I threw a brick through Lawler's house.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Lawler never nothing.
Well, if he was Lawler and he was Randy, would Lawler do it? You think he would do it?
Probably not.
No. He knew Randy was nuts, and he'd get him back 10 times over some way. I ain't scared to die.
I wish I would have met Savage. I never saw him. I never saw him wrestle. Never met him. Nothing. Lanny, I saw at
Mm-hmm.
a few of your shows, Armory shows, and different places, but never Randy. T. Weasel says, every woman's fantasy and every husband's nightmare in the house today. Happy Friday to all of my fans listening today. Do you think he has any fans, or that he's any woman's fantasy or any husband's nightmare?
Well, so far I'm thinking that was a no on those. But I'm trying to think probably his nieces and nephews, they love Uncle Manny probably because he gives them a quarter or something like on their birthday, for Christmas, etc. You know, because Weasel's still in his mom's house in the basement, I think, hanging out at the one bar in Seymour on Highway 50. Well, he's legend at, he's the Weasel. What can you say?
So the Weasel did send me a link. They had an online auction of all of the Crossroads gym equipment.
Oh, okay.
Remember that other gym downtown that had all
Yeah.
that like pink and blue equipment?
Well, I didn't know what kind of, but it was where on the corner.
But do you remember what it was called? What was that called, Weasel? The old gym that John bought that equipment from. At the time, it was like hip type. Remember, it was like pinkish, bluish, different. The leg press over in the corner.
I didn't use leg press, so I can't remember.
Anyway, that leg press, a squat rack, an incline, a decline, a bench, flooring. They put them all together. All this, they did separate lots. All that for $45.
45. Are you? Wow.
But the kicker was you had to be there the next day to pick it up. I bid on a bench press, and I bid up to $100 on what I thought was the best bench press there. But I couldn't have got all that other stuff out. I would have never been able to get that leg press out of there or here probably, or else.
The Weasel might have bought it all and then put it in his mom's basement, and he could have had Weasel's gym, and he could train. He could be the personal trainer of all the hot women.
Look at that, William Lynn, baby, in green today. Became a member just now.
Well, it don't get any better than that.
Now in green. Now we can say William Lynn in the house in green.
Yeah, and we don't have to. Then I quit giving Manny a free plug.
Shane Park says, ready for another great podcast. Want to rip at the top of their game. I don't know, man. I guess.
Or the bottom of their game.
Expectations must not be very high. William Lynn, the most anticipated hour or two of the week. Wow.
The greatest card in many, many months, ladies and gentlemen.
QQ said audio and video are good, which I just got the audio plugged in right before that.
This is sort of like a George Goulas match.
Man, people are really excited to see us today. Bro.
No, we're the only show that's on Friday at noon, I think.
That's probably
Eastern Standard Time.
Hey, Rip, did you ever meet Brute Bernard? What was he like? George wants to know.
I was on a card somewhere, and he was there, and he was Brute would do the funny walk. He sort of looked like George Animal Steel, had the shaved head. I just think he was bald.
Where was he at? I don't know.
Well, he was usually in North Carolina all the time and around there, but he would work some Eastern Kentucky's for independent promoters and Eastern Tennessee, etc., like that. But yeah, Brute Bernard, he was a legend if you're old and remember him like I do. But
did you wrestle him?
Oh, hell no. He'd have just killed me.
Was he nice to you?
He just did his gimmick, treated me like a mark because that's what I was.
Got it. Rip, do you work with Man Mountain Harris? Frank wants to know.
Man Mountain. Now, guy, I'm trying to think who that is. I remember the name, but I can't place him right.
I remember Man Mountain Link.
Oh, yeah, Rick Link. Yeah, Rick Link, he come down to ICW and worked a lot. He's good. He was a good hand. I remember when I was still a mark, Rick Link was working. I think he started when he was like 18 or 19 years old. And he was Sir Rickton Link, but Miser, he called him Rick the Link. That's Link. Okay, never mind.
But no Man Mountain Harris.
I'm trying to think of who Man Mountain Harris
Who
was.
Is he, Frank? Is he somebody else? Did he wrestle out on the East Coast, Northeast?
I know Man Mountain Harris, but I can't place him right now. This has got to go back way over 40 years.
Give us some more specifics. Shane Parks, Vaughn and Rip, was there a wrestler you would have liked to have teamed with? Oh, good question.
That is a good question. Yeah, Buddy Rogers. Of course, he'd have been a whole lot older, but I could. He was the greatest performer there ever was in the world of professional wrestling. You don't believe it. You go back and look at the 1961 match, Comiskey Park, him versus Pat O'Connor. They drew 38,000 people at the Chicago Comiskey Park, 2 out of 3 falls. Every cover was a pin. Buddy Rogers got his foot on a rope 3-4 times, but besides that, there wasn't no false finish or whatever. It was just every high spot he did, it made sense. It was a progression of wrestling. He was so great.
Anybody else like in your time that is there anybody you like hung out with or kind of rode with or did anything with that you didn't team with?
Well, I didn't team with the Bushwhackers, but I rode with him a lot. But all I wanted to do is sit in the back seat and just laugh because they were just so much fun and so funny.
But they would have been fun to team with, probably.
Oh, well, we did have some Army matches where before it was me and Buddy and the two sheep herders as they were the heels against 4 baby faces.
Oh, so you did team with.
Yeah, but then we worked an angle where it was me and Buddy. They turned on us or whatever the hell it was. So we had 3 dressing rooms. So against us, they were the baby faces and me and Buddy were the heels. But against everybody else, they were the heels. And it was funnier than shit.
Wow. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'm trying to think if I ever teamed with Totally. I would love to team with Jimmy. I don't know if I ever. I don't even remember.
Oh, Jimmy called me a couple days. Did I tell you that?
Mm-mm.
He always calls me late at night, and he'll be on there for like 2 to 3 hours. So I made him send him and his woman Tanea a picture. So Jimmy's got that shitty looking grin on his face or whatever.
Like a sex picture?
No.
Oh.
Just a pose picture. But I want. But I don't
say if you had nudes of
Tanea.
I was gonna tell you to get them out. Let me take a look at them.
Well, nudes of Jimmy I've seen.
Yeah. I've slept with Jimmy. I got nudes of Jimmy on my phone. I don't.
The best was Jimmy on the steroids, where he was skinny, and all of a sudden he became the human deltoid. Yeah. Fucking Jimmy, he was too much.
Anyway, that's totally awesome. Jimmy and Sucio, Chris Silvio, which is Silvio. He's been on our show, Esquire on NWA.
That's right.
For you wrestling fans out there.
Oh, and then now he was busy running from the tornado. Didn't know what the hell it was.
Well,
doing.
the hurricane.
Hurricane, whatever. Yeah. Gee whiz. It seems like,
George Jetson says we're like Statler and Waldorf from the Muppet Show.
I never watched the Muppet Show.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, man.
Is that something like Captain Kangaroo when I was a kid and Mr. Green Jeans and Bunny Rabbit and Mr. Moose?
I mean, I doubt it. It's the Muppet Show.
Well,
they probably had the Muppet Show when you were a kid.
No.
The angry old men up in the balcony. Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy. They didn't have Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog anytime when you were half-assed growing up.
No, it was Captain Kangaroo, Mr. Green Jeans.
Those aren't Muppets.
I was just talking about the show.
I know, but you're acting like that. Like there's only one show per decade. Like, oh no, Captain Kangaroo was a show when I was a kid. That means the Muppets couldn't have been a show.
Well, there wasn't no Muppets. Okay. Well, what do you want to bet on this?
Well, you're not going to pay if you lose.
Oh, so. Why not?
Because what are you going to pay with? You tell me you don't have anything.
Well, I got an IOU. And then you can put it on to IOU, or you can do like Randy, and he can tear the thing up and then make a copy of it. Okay, what is it? Wait a minute, drum roll.
Yeah.
Oh,
1976.
Oh, 1976. Now I'm talking about in the late 50s.
Okay, well, that doesn't mean that just because Captain Kangaroo was around, the Muppets couldn't have been around.
Well, they only had 3 stations we could get, so it might have been on and we didn't get it.
Ever meet or wrestle Terry Garvin?
Well, I met Terry Garvin. I never wrestled him. He was always like working in an office or whatever. The Fabulous Garvins at one time was Ronnie Garvin and Terry Garvin and young Jimmy Garvin. And Ronnie Garvin was actually Jimmy Garvin's stepfather.
Always get Terry. Which one was a Freebird?
The one I just talked about.
Terry or Jimmy? I know
Jimmy.
Jimmy?
Yeah, Jimmy.
Can never remember. Clayton says he was on last week, but I ignored him. Man.
Who was on last week?
Clayton said he was on and I ignored him. Sorry, Clayton.
You ignored him?
I don't know how I would have ever.
Well, I can't see I can't see the thing to begin with. I'm the only guy that pays for eyeglasses and stuff, but I can't, even with the deductible, I can't get them because it costs too much and you got to go to the doctor anyway. So I'm sitting there doing this shit, trying to see everything. What's George Lambert? He said something. What happened to Charlene? It was Charlene. That's Randy's girlfriend. Fucking George, see, because Randy was in he was in Charlotte in the 70s. George, he's like Mr. Charlotte. He knows everybody. I ain't putting him over though.
What are your thoughts on WCWO? Is that like wrestling in Indianapolis?
Yeah.
That building stinks. I know that.
Well, they've been there for years and years and years and years.
God, I went and watched Bam Bam wrestle when he came to town a few.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's been a while now, but God, that place reeked. Smelled so bad.
Oh, it was downtown, so it was walking distance. So all the guys off the street can just walk on in there. And that's really what it's about when they say there's walk-in tonight.
Who had the best full Nelson, in your opinion?
Let me see. Yukon Eric. Yeah, probably Yukon Eric. But probably George would know who Yukon Eric was, but I don't think anybody else was. He was
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he was like the original lumberjack strong guy, and he wore the blue jeans and the rope belt and everything. Yeah, I think he blew his brains out.
I feel like when I was a kid, it would have been Ken Patera was the
Ken Patera
was the big full Nelson guy.
He probably was. He was so talented. Olympic strongman, powerlifting,
Wrestling talented or
everything talented. Well, hell, his brother used to be the coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Football.
Well,
that was
brother.
Jack. Well, hell, it'd be
Doesn't
like
mean
you.
he's talented.
Well, it'd be like you.
Man,
and
I'm so
Chili.
talented. My brother's the coach of NFL football team.
Okay, it's like when your sister Julie's a leading scorer in Butler University history.
It doesn't make me talented.
If you got the same gene pool, you got the king, you got your mother right there. No, well,
I feel like I've had mixed reviews on Ken Patera. Do some people not think he was talented, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Okay, I don't know about that. Most 99% of the people that got their opinions, they're not registered by me anyway.
I agree.
Yeah, if you had 1,000 matches and you know what the hell's going on, if not, excuse me, shut up.
Drew Wilson now in green.
All right.
How about that?
Yeah, I can just see.
Thanks, Drew Wilson.
I can just see Ken Patera. He was at a convention I was at, and I had to get there for some picture and stuff, and I was too shy to talk to him.
Oh,
no, I was, because once I start, I won't shut up. So I was still like a little kid in the family store, because to me, he's the great goddamn Olympian, Ken Patera.
He trained Moose, right? Not Moose and TNA Moose, but Moose that was in DCW, OVW Moose.
I didn't know that.
I think so. Is he from, where's he from?
I'd have no idea.
He was, Ken Patera. Yeah, trained
hell,
Moose.
That's a first for me. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I should have made Moose champion.
Talion wants to know if we watched Hell in the Cell. I did not watch it. I do plan on watching. At least I've heard. Even Cornette said that CM Punk and Drew McIntyre was the great match. Everything's got rave reviews so far. So, did you watch any of that? I guess The Rock came back at the end. Didn't really say or do anything, but kind of left everybody hanging.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. It's supposed to be a cliffhanger. What's next? What's next? What's next?
Next is any stories on Pork Chop Cash.
Pork Chop Bobby Cash. I made he was the boss. In Kansas City, I had him. He had the Warlord was green, and so Pork Chop Cash had to go out with him. He was like his manager, and he would manage him and the Russell Sapp Esquire. Russell Sapp hauled the ring for Sonny Mars for years and years. So I made him a star and got him a $10 suit with the pants up high, shirt not long enough, and he had his chew in. You go, uh-oh, shirt too short, pants too short. Russell Sapp Esquire became a star, ladies and gentlemen. Esquire.
How about that?
But Pork Chop Cash, yeah. And then when I met Pork Chop in 1979 when I was working for Calkins in Mississippi. He was like top baby face. He was good, and then later on become a heel. But if you're any good, you got to work baby face. You got to work heel. Learn it all, and you'll get a job. Hopefully.
Weasel said it's the best show we've done today. Look at him stealing your line.
Well, the Weasel's stolen everything. How do you think he got all those women talking that stuff?
Drew Wilson in green says, "Did you ever meet Cowboy Bob from Channel 4, Rip?"
Oh hell yeah! I met Janie too.
I think
Of
Julie was on Cowboy Bob.
Oh wow!
Did they record it in like
or Bloomington on Bluff Road,
I think
3490 Bluff Road in
what was the
Indianapolis,
chick? What was
Indiana.
the girl's name?
Janie.
Janie?
Mhm.
Was she on that show?
Well, she started out. I can't remember if she worked there, and then it was Cowboy Bob. Then Janie had her own show. I don't know if it was before or after.
I had no idea Cowboy Bob wasn't like a national show. I thought everybody
How would we
watched
know when
Cowboy
we was
Bob.
little kids?
Just like I thought everybody watched Jerry Lawler every Saturday morning when
Well, I didn't think nobody watched it. I was busy watching Nick. I just cared about Nick Goulas. Louisville Wrestling Fans, your store for the greatest store in many, many months. The rough, tough team of Tojo Yamamoto and Gypsy Joe going up against the rough team of Jerry Lawler and let's see, and Bill Dundee. Don't forget now, it's Tuesday night. Tickets be on sale all day at the box office. That's Barry, Julie, and all. Don't forget now, we'll see you Tuesday night. That was Nick Goulas.
So how was that? I mean, why would I not have ever seen that? Was that Memphis wrestling or what was
Yeah,
that?
but you was too young.
So okay.
Yeah, this was too young. Because at the time, Memphis was with Nick Goulas, and in 1977, then they broke off and started.
I was
their
probably
own.
watching.
And you wasn't born yet.
73.
Oh hell, you was born. You was probably right there cheering.
Lila was watching at 4. She was
Yeah.
watching wrestling at 4.
Yeah, but you probably forced her into it. Now this is what you're going to do. You're
No,
going to be the
she
girls,
liked it.
woman champion.
No. Jay Martin says, "Did you wrestle Billy Graham in Florida or anywhere? I guess
No, he wouldn't want to wrestle me. He was the superstar, baby. He was the WWF champion.
T. Weasel said he can't remember that gym. How do you not remember that gym?
The
Remember
gym.
the place? Was it not Gary Lacey's place?
Yes, that's wasn't it.
I don't know.
Well, there's a Gary Lacey's place, and there's one across the street by the Jackson County.
It was on the
Bank.
corner. It was the new hot thing. It was supposed to
Okay,
put
that used-
Crossroads out of business.
It used to be the Beehive then.
I think.
Probably the
But I
Beehive.
don't know whether that didn't.
Yeah, I couldn't think of Gary Lacey's name till you just said that. I didn't think of it still, but you said it.
Richard Harris, Frank said. He thinks Man Mountain Harris is Richard Harris. Do you know?
I can't think of Richard Harris.
He said, I think. So I don't know. Shane Park says, remember seeing Rip in 1979 when I was 13 or 14. You sure knew how to get the fans going. You and Buddy faced the sheep herders. You guys got the win when Rip held Luke's leg and Buddy got the pin. Cheating bastard.
I was a cheating bastard. You know why I did that?
Mm.
Buddy told me to. What I do in the ring? Whatever Buddy told me to.
Maybe they're saying it was Black Bart. Would have
Well, it might have been.
Man Mountain Harris been Black Bart?
Yeah, it was. That's right. Yeah, he used to ride with me some.
You went from not knowing who he is that
Well, I couldn't think because
that he used to ride with
guys
you?
have different names.
Right.
And then I'm thinking back how many years ago. No, when I was in Pensacola, he made a bunch of trips with me. Yeah,
How about that?
and he was smoking that Bob Hope, the dope. He was a good guy, and he was so redneck. He was so over that Southern, like a Texas accent, and he wouldn't cuss, but he'd say like "shoot." No, he was good. I liked him.
George says, when I worked with Dusty, he kept a picture of Terry Funk over his toilet. If you did that, who would it be?
Why would he? Okay, is he saying? What's he saying? He's wanting to punish.
I don't know.
I don't know. Come on, George. What's that mean? I wouldn't.
Okay, let's say somebody was the shits. Who would you put over your toilet?
Dusty. No, I'm pushing fat guys.
What did Cornette say? I would use. What did he say? I would use Trump toilet paper, but I'm afraid it would get on my shit or something. Or what? How do you say that? If you want to use somebody's toilet paper, you're afraid. God, I can't remember.
I don't know.
It
This
was
is
funny.
this is a non-political show.
You could do it with anybody, but I mean, you could do
yeah.
it with Dusty Rhodes. It doesn't have to be Trump. It could be
okay.
any. I can't remember. No, I think Cornette, man. I love listening to Cornette till he starts talking politics.
Yeah.
It drives me insane.
But he's so
Fuck.
good, just like a wrestling interview.
It's like you turned on Nick on Twitter, Dennis or Eugene. He guy the other day, fuck you, Glenn Jacobs. He retweeted something that Kane tweeted. He's always telling him to F off all the time.
Well, Jimmy's equal opportunity, so what the hell, right?
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Cactus Pete and Uncle Briggs.
Don't know that.
Don't know them. Used to be shows in Marion, Illinois called Cactus Pete and Uncle Briggs that played cartoons and Three Stooges. Anyone hear of them? Nope.
But
We know, who do we know? Cowboy Bob. Janie.
Yeah. Popeye and Janie. I remember when he came to Seymour.
Maybe that's when my sister was on the show.
Okay,
Then.
that might have
If they
been because
came
I
to Seymour.
remember. Yeah.
To the girls in Japan, tossed salad or just
Who's that?
well, who do you think it is?
Well, I don't,
Frank.
Yeah, Pickle Barrel. He's like the number one perv. Well, the Weasel's a perv, but he's just trying to kayfabe everybody. I think Frank's from the Pussygetting side of town. Of course,
Seems to be.
the Weasel's not.
Let's see. Rip, did you meet Andy Kaufman during the Lawler feud?
No, I wasn't there.
Kim Patera went everywhere, always good in the ring and on promos, and legit tough. I'd guess he has several no bullshit shoots out there on YouTube. Ken don't give an F.
No, like him already.
Any Lonnie Main stories?
Lonnie Moondog Maine. I remember when he died in the big car wreck, but Buddy had worked with Lonnie Moondog. He was like the legend of like Portland and San Francisco. He was big out there. Lonnie Moondog Maine. This was before cable TVs, but in the magazine, I couldn't wait to get the magazine because they would have each territory, what was happening there, the ratings of each territory and everything. And then Lonnie Moondog Maine, he was a big ass star on the West Coast.
Never heard of him, I don't think.
Well, you're too young.
Well, it's like you saying you've never heard of Babe Ruth because I'm too young.
No, I heard him.
I mean, I could hear of people. The Beatles. I've heard of the Beatles.
Well, what it was too is the West Coast. They didn't have the good, like all the magazines were from the East, so they would have more of their sales from the East. So they would just put a little bit of West Coast news in there, and it was usually just the Mike LaBelle from the Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles.
See if we got any more questions in here. Need some questions, people. Need some questions. See if I skipped any. You know, they show up real good, Rip, when they're
green.
When they're, well, not only green, but super chat questions.
Yeah, super chat questions, and then we see them good. If not, they just scrolls by. We miss stuff.
They're tough to see sometimes. George said, I don't think Dusty could have done what Hogan did. Hogan's size and look were over the top. Dusty's fat. Yeah, there was a thing, I think, in that, I don't know if it was from the Vince documentary, but it's kind of in the chat online that Vince wanted Dusty to be Hogan before Hogan, but he turned him down.
Yeah.
You hear anything about that?
No.
You think he could have been Hogan?
Well, Vince is such a body guy. You know, the problem working with Hogan was he was so big that unless he was working with guys bigger than him, and there were very few guys bigger than him, if there's beating Hogan up, Hogan would look like he was weak because he was so big and muscular.
Yeah, but he sold all the time.
Yeah, I guess. Well, Vince telling him what he wants to do.
But that wasn't really the question. The question was, could have Dusty been Hogan?
If Vince says you're my Hogan, then he would have been his Hogan. If not,
right. But would he have gotten over with the fans and sold all the merch and been the American hero?
Hey, Vince,
would have it blown up like Hogan did.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, Vince could make chicken salad out of shit. Look what he did with the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, but he again,
and
the bodies, he had the body.
You're right. And then the bell rang. Well, I could see Vince, he'd be having him on the triple split 3-day workouts, and Dusty just shaking his head, and he'd have workout of Dusty doing push-ups or pressing women or whatever.
I'm just
like
not so
that.
sure that's not the reason Dusty turned him down. I wonder if Vince said you're going to have to change your body. You're going to have to get on the gas. You're going to have to do all that stuff.
That's good.
And Dusty said, nope.
Well, he didn't need to, but
Hell, we got 41 people on here now, Rip. We blowing up. Somebody must have just shared
no.
this.
What's happened? George is probably sharing it. That's what's going on.
Yeah, you guys ever share this stuff, man? Share the links on YouTube, put it out there, or on Facebook, whatever. What was Bobby Shane like?
I never knew Bobby Shane, but Bobby Shane was one of the first guys with a valet. And I think he died in the plane crash. There was all these plane crashes, like Austin Idol was in the plane crash, and the Flair was in the plane crash because the guys was taking the airplanes all the time. The smaller planes on long trips were instead of a 10-hour trip, all of a sudden they got there it was a 2.5-hour trip, and they'd be home at night.
I've got a question on valets. I kind of hear or see how people like managers used to get into the business. And I know how valets basically these days get into business, or at least when I was wrestling, like went to basically OVW at that time, training school, and either was a wrestler, valet, referee, whatever. What about back in the day? Like Brenda, you just bring her in? Did people just accept her? Like, oh, she's with Rip? Like how did valets get in back then?
Randy discovered her in the tit bar, and she was Randy's valet first. And then usually if a guy had a girlfriend or somebody he wanted in, the guy would bring it in and he would train her. Or if not, you can earn your way by doing the promoter or something like that.
But I'm saying, like, okay, now you're going from somewhere to Kansas City. Do you just say, oh yeah, by the way, I have a valet, or do they already know you have a valet, or do some people say, no, I don't want you to bring your valet?
All the above. Yeah. See, I sent film working in shows together, and then all of a sudden, well, goddamn, she's good. Well, hell, she was a stripper and a road stripper too, so she had all this experience. She'd be doing 28-minute shows 4 times a day. So you're used to being in front of people, and you got your timing and everything. So then you just convert that over to wrestling, to certain things that valet, the do's and the don'ts, and you got a great act no matter what.
What about tag teams? Rock and Roll Express. Did anybody ever say, I just want Ricky Morton and not Robert Gibson?
Once you're an established team, everybody wants you. And the only thing that gets stale, and there probably is, like, Ricky always sells because he's a smaller guy. But if Robert sells, then Ricky's got to make the comeback. No matter how much fire he's got, he's a whole lot smaller, and it's not as believable with the sell or the comeback. But a lot of times they do it just to stay in.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, okay, now Mid-South. They're going to Mid-South. Bill Watts, he doesn't say, I think I just want to make Ricky Morton a star and not.
No.
Did anybody do that? And if so, would Ricky Morton go, or would he say, no, we're a package deal?
Once they became a hit, they went everywhere together because they could do as what you just pointed out right there. Ricky said, no, fuck off. I don't need you.
Yeah.
We're here as a fucking a package. If you don't like it, good luck to you, but we ain't coming.
Paul Shaw says, any Buddy Landell stories?
Okay, William Enser, Buddy Landell. The first time I met Buddy, he was like 19. He was living with me and Randy in the building we was in Lexington, where we was going to run downtown, but then it cost $50,000 to do the lights and electricity or whatever the wiring was. So Miser said no. So yeah, Buddy was from Knoxville. And one time we was driving in the car, and I was on him about him doing drugs all the time. So he says, I'm going to throw my drugs out the window. So he took the thing and the bat and threw it out. And I fucking caught him palming the fucking gimmick in the thing here. And he had his cocaine right there. He said, oh, I was ribbing you, But Buddy Landell, he had the world's greatest head of hair. It was the blackest hair. Then when he bleached,
was it really?
Yeah, he had black hair when he started with us. And then when he bleached it blonde, usually it destroys his texture. But Buddy had a great head of hair.
I was at, remember that one of the OVW shows that you did at the Louisville Gardens when when they send some WWE guys down or whatever. You remember the show Buddy Landell was on? He was on one of those shows. I can't remember who he wrestled or. God, do you remember? You don't remember?
No, I wouldn't have paid any attention.
Well, sure you would have.
No,
You were there.
What?
I was
don't
there
wa-
with you.
Well, I wasn't interested in the matches. Get real.
Oh, then why were you there?
Well, I had to be there.
You were sitting up in the crowd with me. You didn't even have to.
Well, I don't remember none of it anyway. So whatever. I'd have been looking at girls. Are you kidding me?
Anyway, Buddy Landell was there. There was like an after party at a bar.
Uh-huh.
Guy I know, Bo Hatfield, was a Louisville cop.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get invited to this party, but he, as a cop,
Mm-hmm.
had the in. So I asked if I wanted to go. So I went. And I'm sitting at the bar. And next to me is Buddy Landell in a Tennessee sweatsuit, bright orange sweatpants,
That sounds
zip
like
up,
Yeah.
and Jim Cornette,
Mm-hmm.
both there. And then Buddy got on the bar, like drinking, dancing around, doing whatever. I'm standing there going, man, I cannot believe I'm standing at a bar next to Buddy Landell and Jim Cornette, who I grew up watching on TV. I thought it was awesome. It's before I started wrestling at all.
Oh, well, that would have been, yeah. If I'd have been that, I remember when I was like, when I was in college, we went up to Joe Hibachi's bar in Indianapolis, and Mitsu Arakawa was the bartender. Wow. Fucking Mitsu Arakawa was the bartender. Didn't get any better than that. I went to the bar just to see Mitsu.
George Jefferson said, any Ricky Morton stories?
No, I don't have any dirt on Ricky. Ricky can put enough dirt on Ricky himself, and that's why he leads. I think he had more wives than anybody I ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a player. He knows how to get over.
Does he just have the one son that you know of?
Mm,
Carrie, or does he have another son?
I don't know. He might have a bunch. Who knows? I think he was always talking about having a bunch out there, or just they were plants, or they was just wanting something.
Shane Park said, I just saw your match with Owen Hart. What was it like to wrestle him?
Well, I was a star. I told him what to do.
He said, you sure put him over.
Well, that was my job. Know what he can do and show everybody what he can do and make it the best match you can have possible. I always liked Owen. He was funny. And then I worked with him in Calgary when he was first starting. And then I worked with him when he was in WC. He wasn't in WCW very long, but he was good. He was easy on the head. He was as tight as I was. And the girls would take him on the trips for free. They'd bring him food for free. He'd stay at their houses for free. Owen knew what the hell was going on. That's for sure.
I was just going to ask. Oh, George wanted to know if your son ever was interested in being a wrestler.
Oh, he wasn't allowed to be a wrestler.
Only his adopted sons.
Yeah.
Let's see. How many world champions did you wrestle, Rip?
Hell, I don't know.
Can you name any?
I don't even. They'd have to be babyface champions.
You know what?
I can't.
I've wrestled one and tagged with one. That I
Uh-huh.
can. CM Punk. Oh, Cena. I beat John Cena. He was world champ.
Yeah.
CM Punk.
Well, you
Cena.
probably
Cody Rhodes.
Uh-huh.
Dolph Ziggler. Was he a world champ one time? I think.
I don't know.
God, I got a whole list. Of
You
world,
sure do.
I got a whole list of world champions in my back pocket, Rip.
You sure do. I probably ain't got none of them. Yeah, I mean, well, hell, you're 10 times greater than me, so what the fuck, right?
Drew Wilson, look at that. Not only is he a member today, but he's also getting in on this super chat stuff.
You see his question right
Do
there.
you think there could ever be a traveling world champion or traveling NWA champ again if independent promoters joined Billy Corgan to revitalize the NWA?
No. No.
Now, weren't they doing that? Like Conway, remember he was like the NWA champ. Wasn't he kind of traveling? Weren't they doing that?
Yeah, but
Not like it was.
no, it used
I
to
guess.
be Flair would be working. He'd be on the road, not every day, but almost every day, doing it and working an hour Broadway every day against a top babyface. And sometimes they would work. The heel champion of the area would have a match, and Flair would work babyface. But see, that's why it was so important. The NWA champion. That's why Terry Funk was so good. That's why Dory Funk Jr. was so good. They could work babyface or heel. It didn't matter if you knew your basics, all you had to do is shut up and listen to him. And Terry Funk could work babyface Monday, heel, Tuesdays, heel, Wednesdays. It's back and forth, and he don't miss a beat. And in that match, he can make you love you or make you hate him. The NWA champions were so good because they had to pull that time with guys they hadn't seen, with very little sleep. And most of the champions, let's just say, they were pretty good partiers.
I feel like as long as there's the WWE at a worldwide, NWA champ will never mean what it used to. I wouldn't think. Now, I think they did do it. If they're not doing it now, they did do it for a while. I remember Conway, and there was a couple other guys that were pretty decent, and they went to the, different independent shows and stuff. But
see, here's the gimmick. You've got to be on a national. It'd be like when Ole was there, and they had the Superstation WTBS, and then Ole also had the local markets too. And the independent wrestlers, very few have got TV, and without TV, you're basically wasting your time unless you're just doing an independent show. And then, well, how you you're gonna have to guarantee a guy something, because the NWA champion always got 10% of the money that went through the house that night. So Billy Corgan, he's been busting his balls. He's sort of like Tony Khan.
he was supposed to be on this show. When's he ever coming on this show?
Probably the second Tuesday of next week, something like that. Because Mondo just worked for Billy Corgan
I saw that
in Georgia. No, it was Tampa. Yeah, in Tampa.
I don't know. I saw him was doing it. George Jetson said when Nick Aldis was NWA champ, he would travel and it wouldn't draw much on the indie. Ex-WWE guys would draw more.
Yeah, because they just didn't have the exposure. It doesn't matter how good you are if you've got exposure. And if I was just a fan, I want to see the guys that are on TV. I remember I was so disappointed when I went to like wrestling in Bedford and wrestling some other place, some other spot show, and they were both Dale Mann shows. And it was Big Dale Mann and all his local guys from Southern Kentucky. And I'm just sitting there watching the same guys come out doing the same match. And all of them look like fucking shit. They got my $5, but what the hell? It was wrestling, so it was better than nothing. Because that one night Richard Grove from Seymour, he jumped in the ring, and I took the picture of him with the Polaroid. He was slamming his head in the turnbuckle. Then we got out and took off. All the top stars.
Rip, do you know who Code SM96 is?
I don't know.
Says, what up, Rip? Von Lilas. I don't know. Do you know him? He seems like a new member or new listener. Code SM96.
Is he in green?
No.
Well, he's got to be.
I don't think I've ever seen him before. He said Dolph was a world champ, though.
Okay. Dolph was very good. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. To me, he's one of the, man, I used to go when we do those, when I do the WWE shows, you go work out in the ring during the day, whatever. Dolph was always in the ring, always leading somebody. Just he could call anything on the fly with anybody. I think he's so good.
I think he was so good too.
Let's see what else we got here. Code SM96 said LOL. To be fair, NWA is still pretty old school. Yeah, they are. Billy Corgan's Mark. Well, we're all kind of marks.
Well, everybody's a mark for something.
Yeah.
I want to be an NBA owner. Well, I'm a mark for that. I want to open a restaurant in downtown Seymour. I'm a mark for that. I want to be a high school football coach. Oh, you're a mark for that. Everybody's a mark for something. So such is life.
Hey, if you got the money to do it and you love it, why not? Like Billy Corgan, I mean, hell, they're still
Right.
touring with the Smashing Pumpkins. He's got to be set, and I don't think he spends tons of money. He's not spending Tony Khan money. That's for damn sure.
No, right.
I don't think, from what I've heard, he doesn't pay like real well, and they don't do the big national. You know, he's not spending $200,000 to buy music for somebody's entrance for a night. Shane Park says, I just lost the question.
Shane Park said you lost the question.
Yeah, I'll just go to this one then. Ever face the Fabulous Ones?
Oh, Stan Lane and Steve Kern.
Yeah.
I was on a lot of shows with him. Or maybe I did one night. I know I was in the dressing room with him a whole lot. Steve Kern's from Tampa, and I've known Stan Lane for years. They was always good boys, worked hard.
You remember when the King did the buttons? Do you ever remember him making the buttons? So we would go, the King, my dad would, he had a button machine. So we would go to flea markets, like on the weekends, and sell buttons. And he had buttons of you with your hair combed back, and you had a headband on.
Mm-hmm.
And people came up and said, "Oh, is that one of the Fabulous Ones?" And I said, "Yeah,
Yeah, as long as you can sell it, right?
so he bought the button. He thought it was the Fabulous Ones. It was awesome. So from now on, you were a Fabulous One.
That was
Rip.
the King for you. But I could have been Bobo Brazil too.
No, I don't think so. Look at that. Code SM96 is now a member.
See, that's the way you do it, right
Nice
there.
green.
Well, I was green in the rings for years, so what the hell, right? We got green with the red badge of courage here. Now you're over.
I'm sure I've told the story on the King on here before. I think it was at Crothersville, Medora, somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Probably Crudville.
You, of course, were on the card. We were selling pictures, and the King had just printed a whole bunch of pictures that he'd gotten from somewhere, and he was selling Bill Dundee's picture, and Bill Dundee had a table right next to us. He was on the card.
Oh, my God.
And he came over and started yelling at my dad.
My
dad was like, "Hey, I'm just here for Rip. You got to talk to him."
But I didn't have nothing to do with the table.
And, well, I know. But then you came over and you're like, "Oh, take the pictures down. He doesn't know any better, Bill. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Just take his pictures down. Quit getting so mad."
Yeah. Take it easy, Billy.
Dundee was hot, man. Of course, he came up to about the King's belly button. So, you know.
And I remember when he booked Watts' territory, Watts was always a guy of shooter wrestlers. Dundee come in for about 18 months and was booker after Ernie and Ladd and Grizz were right after I left. And that's when Cornette first got his big break as a manager. And they set record attendance because everything became hip. It was entertainment all of a sudden, where before Watts everything was like it was real and people believed it. And now all of a sudden they've got this entertainment thing. And they said, damn, this is even better. Right. So, 18 months, Dundee was booker there, set tremendous crowds in the entertainment, and Bill Watts sort of changed. Now he saw the other side. Then after that, he started doing a mixture of it and then built it up to, then he sold to Crockett.
Shane Parks, ever meet or wrestle Larry Zbyszko?
I was on a bunch of cards with Larry, and the first time I went to the WWF, I remember bullshitting a lot with Larry because he was about 4 years older than me or whatever. And he knew I was green in grass. And he was talking about how I said, and his body looked like Bruno Sammartino's.
Yeah.
And if he had his head cut off and Bruno's head, you would think it was Bruno when he was real young, but he was heavy into the psychology thing. And I'd been in the business for years, and I get mad at Larry because he'd be on Superstation, right? And he would stall for like 4 minutes, right? And everybody, and I'm getting mad. Well, goddamn, wrestle. Well, now I'm a fucking mark, right? He's fucking got me. And then he'd wrestle the job guy, go boop, 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 and beat him.
Maybe that's why I didn't like it. He
Oh,
never did anything for me.
I know.
Like nothing. Watching as a fan,
He knew how to get
but I
heat.
didn't even get. He didn't get heat from me. He got, "Hey, I don't ever want to just watch you heat." Like it wasn't like, "I hate this guy," blah blah blah. I want to see him get his ass beat. I just wanted his match to hurry up and get over. I just didn't. There was nothing. I don't know. Nothing about Larry Zbyszko that ever interested me as a fan. Just my 2 cents. Drew wants to know if Flash Flanagan will ever be on the show. Hell, he's been on the show.
He's been on here before. I guess you'll have to look into the archives.
Go look at the previous shows and find Flash Flanagan.
He'd be talking about the big kendo stick.
Any Juan Hurtado stories?
God, Juan Hurtado. Juan Hurtado.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Oh, Juan Hurtado. Yeah.
I got one that you've told.
Well, tell it.
I can't remember. It was when he hit you. You turned yourself or turned him heel or something, so you didn't have to wrestle him anymore because he stiffed you too much. Or something.
Juan would beat the shit out of him. He wasn't trying to. He was as nice as could be. I said, God damn, I'm too old for this shit. He beat the shit out of you without trying.
You turned him heel, so you didn't have to like wrestle or something. I thought you told me one time.
Probably did.
Unless you just made it up.
Wouldn't made it up unless it would have happened.
Well, so the story is Rip apparently made him a heel, so Rip didn't have to wrestle him anymore.
That sounds good. What's Frank Picklebarrel ass have to say?
Is Chopper's real name Bill? No, it's not.
Chopper's real name Bill. It's Vaughn, V-O-N. Get with it.
Get with it, Frank.
Come on.
Bring back Flash. I got some questions. Some SW questions. All right.
What's SW?
I don't know.
SW.
Some SW questions.
Some SW questions. Okay.
William Lynn now in green. How was Buck Robley perceived as a booker?
Out there, but he always had a job, and he was from Frankfort, Indiana. And the first time I was working for Bruiser, and he was in the dressing room, what happened, he come home for Christmas vacation and to see his parents. And so he worked one of Bruiser's shows. So I was there. So he started telling me about the road. And I was, at the time, I was like sort of real straight and everything. And he started telling me the stories. And let's just say Buck was a partier with substance abuse and alcohol, etc. But I come out of there and I said, oh my God. I just shook my head and I go, God, that stuff he was telling sounded wonderful. I said, I can't wait to get on the road. The Colonel Buckley Christopher George Robley III, I think it was, from Frankfort, Indiana, ladies and gentlemen. He was Watts' booker a whole lot.
Apparently, they're saying in the chat that Bill Dundee had no problem selling pictures of his son and Wolfie D, PG-13's pictures. Said Wolfie sold Bill, or Wolfie said Bill sold pictures of him and PG-13 and didn't cut them in. Wolfie confronted him and Dundee pulled a knife.
I think I heard that story.
Wow. How about that?
Well, in the world of professional wrestling, you never know what's going to happen.
Rip, what finisher was not one of your most liked in the business?
Anything that could... it would be hard for you to put on anybody, whether it be a midget or Andre. You got to have something you can do on everybody where you or them are not going to get hurt. Anybody that does dangerous shit might as well write an S on their head that means I'm stupid, because I might hurt you and you might hurt yourself and put yourself out of wrestling, which is just stupid. That's why Mankind did the mandible claw. They afraid he'd kill himself. And that's why Santino did the fucking Cobra. They made stuff simple. That got over more and nobody got hurt.
I always thought the Brain Buster seemed like a really hard.
No.
Like Coco Beware used to give, and he was little dude.
Yeah.
And gave people the Brain Buster. It just, to me, that always seemed like a.
Yeah, that was no.
Tough.
If I don't, Brain Buster, you take it? No, let's do something else. No Brain Buster. And a pile driver. I'll say no.
Yeah, especially if there's somebody that doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rip, any Buzz Tyler stuff? Thought he was great in Central States. You know Buzz Tyler.
I know Buzz Tyler. He was a big guy. He was a heavy guy, and he would come out like the upbeat music where he was like could hump and everything. Avalanche Buzz Tyler. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Frank said I missed a. Oh shit! Sorry, Frank. I missed a super chat. That's not like me. I usually don't miss super chats. My bad, dude. Vaughn looks like a trucker my mom was banging. That's why he wanted to know if my name was whatever it was.
Well, so he could. You could have been his father.
Well, Frank's older.
Well, I guess
surely.
he couldn't then. Maybe it was.
Frank's got to be older.
Did the
Don't
king,
you, Frank?
Did the king ever drive a truck?
No.
No.
No, wasn't a trucker either. Good question though, Frank. I love your super chats, man. Sorry, I missed that. I can't believe I missed a super chat. What else we got? Dave wants to know any Dick the Bruiser stories. Yeah, there's one on our channel right now.
Yeah.
Can't remember what it was.
DB.
Do you remember the first time you met Dick the Bruiser, Rip? Like talked to him in person, in the locker room, wherever it would have been?
Well, when I first went in there, he pretty much ignored me. That's cool. And then after a few years, I'd be working like we was working. I was working for WCW at the old fairgrounds, and all of a sudden he come in like he was a mark, right? Then all of a sudden I started kayfabing him. Then all of a sudden he remembered me. And then I became a little kid again and told him what he meant to me and how I admired him, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know, and then I was back to he was the star and he was feeling good again. And then I was feeling like a little kid. So it was great.
Frank's 48. I'd have been 2 years old to have Frank.
Well, you got that super Snabitz down there.
Dave Channel, if you go to our videos like 3 videos ago, Rip Rogers' amazing Dick the Bruiser story. 2,800 views. Go look at it, share it, talk to people about it, all that good stuff. Rip Rogers, amazing.
They were amazing.
Dick the Bruiser story.
I think that's the headline you put on there.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Okay. I remember one night we was coming home from a show. I think I was coming home from Fort Wayne, driving in my beat up Pinto. All of a sudden, somebody started running into the back of my car. I'm going, what? But there was no lights on, right? It was fucking Bruiser. He was tapping me, right? Then all of a sudden he went around me, had the light on. I was just going, had a beer going.
That's awesome.
That was all. I said, holy shit. I was glad it was him because I said, fucking Martians have got me or something. DB, Dick Bruiser.
What was Jody Hamilton like?
Oh, Jody was great.
Was he one of the assassins
Yes.
on Memphis when the assassins were in Memphis? Would that have been him?
There have been so many.
I think he was.
The original was him and Tom Ernesto. They were the assassins that drew all the money, and Jody could have basically homesteaded in the Carolinas because the Carolinas they ran 3 towns a night, and the assassins were usually the top tag team. They would do the switcheroo because they with the hoods on, they looked the same. They pretty much could imitate each other. They were a great team. And Jody Hamilton, he worked for WCW. That's Nick Patrick's dad.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's
I don't
Nick
think I
Patrick.
knew that.
Right. So because of the name, and Jody wanted it that way. So a lot of guys would take it out on wrestlers' kids. It was easier for you to break in, but if somebody held a grudge with you or was jealous with you, a lot of times they do stuff to your kid and stuff. I didn't know for a long time that he was that Jody was Nick's dad. And Nick, he was he wrestled in Bill Watts' territory too. He'd hurt his knee, and he could get that long term of being booked by being a referee. And Nick was over big time because he was on that Superstation WTBS for so many years. He was over. Nick Patrick was.
All right. Get a couple plugs in here and see if we come back to any super chats. Oh, Starcade, baby. We hadn't talked about Starcade in a while. A Rip t-shirt. I don't know why I got a payment. I never got a notification on selling any t-shirts, but some reason we got a little t-shirt money that came in, Rip. So we did
Shit.
get some
That's
t-shirt
great.
money, but I don't know how or why. Go buy a t-shirt, prowrestlingst.com.
That's right.
Go grab you a book.
Oh, Vince the Prince is coming up with book number 2.
Oh, book number 3.
Mhm.
How do you say
yeah,
two?
deux.
Deux?
Du trois. Yeah. Vince the Prince, Caleb Hall. I always like this because it's pointing down there at the worm.
No, it's pointing at the fanny pack.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought it was for the wormage. Well, it was lower than the thing, so it could be the worm.
You could go to this gimmick on his Facebook or Twitter, or just do the
Yeah, just send money.
Coach V40 at yahoo.com. Then
Yeah.
you don't take out all the fees.
Yeah, I'm like what's his face? Deion Sanders, trying to keep my toes from getting cut off and my foot from getting cut off. A couple wrestlers have reached out to me talking about it. They showed me pictures of them with their knee, 2 legs amputated from the knee down. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Lovely. So
I think Kamala didn't he have that?
oh,
before
he had
passed
both
on?
of them. He had both legs gone. I can imagine him being super diabetic to begin with.
If you've not watched this, go watch it. Like it, comment on it, see if we can get this thing going a little bit. It's real slow starting.
The brick through the window story.
Comment, like, smash, all that good stuff. Matter of fact, this live right now. Go put some comments on the real thing, on
Let's live.
like it.
Let's live.
Got to do all that kind of stuff to it. Any other last questions? Super chat questions. Got any last super chat questions? Hey, I got to make another announcement though, Rip. While we're
Okay.
waiting on these few super chat questions coming in. Next week there will be no show. Now, last time I said there was going to be no show, we actually had a show, but
Well, that was because of the weather change. Right?
that's because there was a hurricane.
Uh-huh.
But this time we are on fall break, family fall break. Von Lilas, the Lilas family fall break.
It's the Lilas tour.
Rain, sleet, hail, hurricane, tornado.
Snow.
It doesn't matter. There will be no show on Friday. So you heard it here first.
But we'll put on some snippets. How's that?
Yeah, snippets.
Yeah, well, it'll cover right there. But don't set your hey, what's his face? Jamie from California, the vet.
Yeah, the vet.
He wasn't even here today.
Not
was
even
he?
on here. Nope.
That's like no respect.
Yeah, longest living member.
And just think when him Zeus would do the spin around.
Spin, yeah.
Uh-huh. And now he's the army of one, and he just kayfabes us. The vet, ladies and gentlemen, kayfabe us with the army of one. Congratulations to Ben Halmeen because he had the anniversary with 127 wives.
I think we did that last week.
I know, but I'm just doing it again because he might have married a couple times since then.
I think he called. Wasn't last week when he was on the phone? Didn't he call last week?
Was that last week?
Or was that the week before?
I can't remember. God. Decisions in life.
I feel like there was something else I was going to talk about, but can't remember. All right. So, yeah, no show next week. Thanks, everybody, for joining this week. Oops, didn't mean that. Where's the music, Rip? You got the music ready to go?
I did, but I forgot it.
Whatever happened to the other music? Let's see. Maybe this is it. There it is. Down there. Let's do it. Thanks for all the super chats.
Need to be in green. Green,
Shane
baby.
Parks, Drew Wilson, Frank's Pickle Barrel Ass, new members, William Lynn, Drew Wilson, code SM96,
Green. Don't get any better
super
than that.
chats, Shane Parks, baby, thank you, Drew Wilson, Frank the Tank's Pickle Barrel Ass. We're out of here.
For a minute there, I thought you